Thanks, Leslie. The Democratic National Convention wrapped up in Charlotte last night, of course, with speeches by the president and other heavy hitters in the Democratic Party. Here now with some analysis of last night's event is a radio host and political commentator, Dr. Gina Loudon. Good morning to you.
Good morning, David. Nice to be with you.
Nice to be with you. First of all, since we just talked about this, the corner and the controversy that was caused by it, what are we talking about here that happened at the DNC? I know you were at the Republican National Convention on the same row.
Yes, exactly. Radio Row, traditionally, the people file through. They've got a book they want to go on your show to talk about. Maybe they just have an issue they're promoting they want to talk about. But I noticed at the RNC, only the conservatives would talk to us. I myself approached Sandra Fluke and asked her if she would be willing to go on camera with me, and she refused me. And so this continued on into the DNC, where if you are a liberal talk show, they'll talk to you. But if you happen to be anything but a liberal, they would refuse to talk to you. And so some of them got mad and packed up and left, because if you don't have interviews, what are you there for?
All right. Okay, let's get to the main event last night, President Obama. How do you feel he did with his speech to America?
I'm hearing on all levels from all sorts of commentators on the left and the right that they felt it was a little bit empty. He sort of set the stakes high for himself, giving that great speech in 2004 that we all remember, being known as a really dynamic speaker who connects with his audience. He didn't quite pull that last night. Some are saying he's acting safe because he's kind of just wanting to kind of ride this wave as it goes. Perhaps he found out about the job numbers just before. My understanding is that he was informed of the dismal job numbers that we all learned about this morning. He was informed of those before the event last night. So maybe that was on his mind. Who knows? But it wasn't his best performance.
I think it was clear going in that he couldn't really paint a rosy picture, or he might have been painted as a little out of touch with what's really happening.
Yeah, you know, those teleprompter writers were making some last-minute changes when those job numbers came out, for sure. And he really can't. He has to talk about, you know, that they're going to turn a corner, and he's going to have to continue to try to impress that, you know, Romney is not the answer, and Romney's going to have to continue to impress on his potential voters that he wants to fire the president. So these are the messages that each of them are trying to sink.
I think a lot of people, even those pulling for the president, were kind of on the fence with Joe Biden. How do you feel his performance was last night?
I thought Joe.
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought Joe impressed. I think people were a little bit surprised. I think in some ways the president was overshadowed a bit, perhaps by Clinton, perhaps a little bit by Biden, and perhaps even a little bit by Michelle, who, by most accounts, did a good job. I'm not sure, you know, at the end of it all, you hope that the candidate can really shine. I find it so fascinating, the parallels between the two conventions, where neither of the candidates outshone their own wives, which was interesting. Many of these things are so rehearsed, David, behind the scenes. Everything is supposed to go just like this. It's been interesting to watch the things they can't control. The whole God factor that came up was very interesting, the controversy. And certainly the $16 trillion debt that they went into this event with at the DNC, and then coming out with these dismal job numbers. None of that was planned. So those are the interesting sort of loose things that we got to watch as an audience.
You can kind of say both of them were Hollywood scripted, but last night was really Hollywood. There were a lot of Hollywood celebrities taking part.
I guess they were trying to trump the Eastwood factor.
Yeah, I think that's what they were doing. All right, moving forward, of course, the president said last night we have two entirely different visions for the future, and the future between now and November are debates. What do you think will happen in these debates? Is that where we're going to see more clear definition of where the two stand?
I think that is exactly what will happen, because really the point of these conventions is to solidify your base and build intensity, make them motivated to go out and really work hard for you. That's really the purpose of the conventions. The purpose of debates is really to draw in that middle-of-the-line person who's unsure, hasn't decided how they're going to vote yet. So they're going to be watching those debates for being able to identify with the candidates. But I found it really fascinating that the Democrats this time seem to be really unafraid of taking a hard leftist stand. I didn't hear much appealing to the centrist out there, who, you know, the Reagan Democrat, for example. I didn't hear them even really reaching out to that audience. It will be interesting to see in the debates if Obama takes a little bit more middle-of-the-road stance.
Because that's where the election is going to be won, isn't it, in the middle?
That's what they always say. That's what they always say. Although I think that definitely intensity of vote, you need your base too. And so they needed to solidify the bases at the conventions, and they'll need to go out and grab extra voters in these upcoming debates.
All right, Dr. Gina Loudon, thank you very much for your opinion.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it.